Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I Om Vishnu Pad Paramam Sukari Braj Charja Ashtotar Satpi Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Naim Sekvaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayādvaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai Pranidharan Islam Ki Jai Dalabhi Tham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Rangamayi Ki Jai Jamanamayi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Both in and done.
Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam reading with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026. We are beginning with Srimad Bhagavatam, text 7 of chapter 25 in Canto 4.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narduvacha. O Prajapate Rajan. Ashun Pasha Tvayadvare. Sangyapatan Viva Sanghan. Nigranena Sahasrasha. Great Saint Narada said, just give me one moment. The great Saint Narada said, "O ruler of the citizens, my dear king, please see in the sky those animals which you have sacrificed without compassion and without mercy in the sacrificial arena." Purport: because animal sacrifice is recommended in the Vedas, there are animal sacrifices in almost all religious rituals. However, one should not be satisfied simply by killing animals according to the directions of the scriptures. One should transcend the ritualistic ceremonies and try to understand the actual truth, the purpose of life. Narad Muni wanted to instruct the king about the real purpose of life and invoke a spirit of renunciation in his heart. Knowledge and the spirit of renunciation, Jnana Vairagya, are the ultimate goal of life. Without knowledge, one cannot become detached from material enjoyment. And without being detached from material enjoyment, one cannot make spiritual advancement. Karmis are generally engaged in sense gratification, and for this end, they are prepared to commit so many sinful activities. Animal sacrifice is but one such sinful activity. Consequently, by his mystic power, Narad Muni showed King Prachini Parhishat the dead animals which he had sacrificed. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Tadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Tamstam Sajiva Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhan Vitamstra. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabh Hanu Sute Devi Pranamami Muri Priye Vancha Golpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyavacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Narduvach Ho Bho Prajapate Rajan Pashun Pasha Tvayadvare Sangyapitan Jiva Sanghan Nigrinena Sahasrasha. There's by mystic power, Narad Muni shows King Prachinipari that you've killed so many animals, now they're waiting to kill you. Pasha Pashun, just see them. You've killed them in sacrifice, and all right, you're following Vedic rules, but just that you're following Vedic rules doesn't mean there'll be no reaction. Just like meat eating. Meat eating is allowed according to Vedic principles. But you have to whisper into the ear of the goat that you kill, now I'm killing you. In the next life, you can kill me. So it's allowed, but there's a cost. Just like the government allows sale of liquor, but it adds a big tax because it wants to discourage. Of course, it also wants to get revenue, but it wants to discourage liquor. And so it's heavily taxed. Or other things, some countries, heavy taxes, road taxes, just to make it harder to purchase a car. Yes, you can do it, but you'll have to bear the burden. So yes, you can kill animals. That also under restriction, not every animal and not willy-nilly, but you can perform sacrifices in which animals are killed, but there'll be a cost. There'll be a cost. Therefore, we quoted yesterday, Pravitiresha Bhutanam Nivrittistu Mahapala, which is from Manu Samhita. And there it said, yes, these are natural propensities. Namamsha bhakshane dosho namadyena chamaitune. Yes, that's natural. Someone wants to eat meat. Someone wants to take intoxicants. Many someones want to have sex. Such persons should not be wholesale condemned. And there's some space for that. In the Bhagavatam, it said, Loke vyavayamisha madhye seva. Loke vyavayamisha madhya seva. Nitya hijantur nahitatra chodana. Vivastatisteshu vivaha yagya. Sura grahir ashunivritir ishta. Everyone is inclined toward these things: sex, meat eating, intoxication. These are natural propensities of conditioned souls. In the spiritual world, there's no trace of this, but in the material world, that these propensities are there. Why did we come after all? So there's always the inclination towards sex, toward meat eating, towards intoxication. And therefore the Shastras allow for these things. Sex is allowed through marriage, meat eating through sacrifice, intoxication. Also, there's some part of the Vedic rituals where, yes, now intoxicants can be taken. But that's all meant for restriction, not for encouraging these things. It's meant for restriction, not for encouragement. So, but we want to take advantage. All right, it's allowed. And sometimes we ignore the restrictions or we follow the restrictions, but we don't consider that what am I doing? I'm implicating myself in materialistic life, legal or illegal. So that's not very good. One should transcend these rituals and try to understand the actual truth. Jivasya tattva jigyasa nartha yasya karmabhi. One shouldn't look for every loophole, every opportunity, every allowance for sense gratification. One should see the faults in materialistic life and get free from such activities. Narad Muni wanted to instruct the king about the real purpose of life and invoke a spirit of renunciation in his heart. So that's the real thing. The Narada came and he could have said, all right, you're following Vedic rituals, I don't have an issue. But he saw that this king, descendant of Dhruva Maharaj, is entangling himself through materialistic activities, in this case, particularly animal killing. So I should awaken in him understanding, and with that understanding should come detachment. Right. Any questions? There is a question from Praveen.
Praveen Prabhu writes, so animal sacrifice is still sinful even if the animal gets a new youthful body or a higher form? Is it because there is pain involved in the process? Does that also mean one will get similar reactions too?
That's what Narad's showing. These animals will find in the next verse, as you've killed them, they're waiting to kill you. Yes, there's pain. And one does get within the Karma Kandya section of the Vedas, one may still incur reactions. Yes, Sridevi.
Also, aren't these Vedic rituals just to get to higher planets or for demigods? Are there any Vedic rituals specifically for killing animals to go back to Godhead?
No, there's no need to kill animals to go back to Godhead. Yes, the Vedic rituals are meant for promotion to the Svargatmana Karmapara. Kamatmana Svargapara. They're meant for going to the heavenly planets for sense gratification. Everything, as Prabhupada said, for sense gratification. The whole materialistic civilization, sense gratification, even the Vedic activities, Trigunya Vishaya Veda, they're also meant to accommodate persons who have material desires polluted by particularly passion and ignorance. So it's all right, we give you some space, but it's not very good. It's not very good. Yes.
Regarding Praveen Prabhu's question, my understanding was always that there may be some discrepancies. Prachina Barisha, practically the whole earth is covered with these kusha grasses. He's doing so many of them that naturally some will inconvenience the animals and not be successful. Is that an incorrect understanding, that it's only the ones who are inconvenienced that are waiting to pierce him, or it's just a general rule that you've caused them pain?
Well, we'll see that Narad Muni says there's thousands of animals that you've killed, and they're all lined up to get back at you.
So those aren't just ones where there were discrepancies. This is a general.
Doesn't seem. Doesn't seem. Whole idea is it's not very good, animal killing. It's there in Vedic rituals, in the Abrahamic religions. There's animal sacrifice. I assume in Islam, because there's animal killing, so there must be some rule about that. So it's there, You can do it, but is this the business of human life, to be killing animals? Sometimes it's made out like that in some religions. It's like a great thing we're doing, sacrificing so many animals, even in the Vedic rituals. But it's not considered very good. Rather, the good thing is Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa, spiritual inquiry, development of knowledge, development of attachment, of detachment. This is the real business. When we neglect the real business, then we're busy saying, all right, what can we do next for sense gratification? Whether it's buying out a company or performing a Vedic ritual or so many other things that people do. It's problematic. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else? Saraswati has a hand.
Pranams Param Pujya Guru Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. I'm a little bit confused because I sort of detect a contradiction in something that I read about Sri Raghunath Das Goswami's pastime, where he was extremely renounced, and he used to invite Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other devotees for lunch, and the money that his father sent, he would only take the amount that he needed in order to serve them prasadam. But then it said that he changed his mind about taking this money from his father and using it to serve prasadam, because he thought that his consciousness is impure if he accepts goods from people who are interested only in pounds and shillings. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about how if we accept the offerings of such people and place them before the Lord and invite Vaishnavas to partake of the prasadam, that attempt will gain us only a material reputation, not the actual benefit. Furthermore, Srila Prabhupada says, because of these people's ignorance, they cannot understand that their minds are materially polluted, and that neither the Supreme Personality of Godhead nor the Vaishnavas accept their offerings. If one accepts money from such materialistic persons to offer food to the deity and Vaishnavas, a pure Vaishnava does not accept it. But we're accepting contributions, donations from anyone and everyone, so I'm really confused about this. Thank you.
Yeah, the idea is that there's the opportunity for entanglement, even when performing devotional service. There's some risk there. I'm engaging materialistic people. I'm engaging women. If I'm a man, I'm engaging women. I'm engaging materialistic people. I'm engaging, I'm engaging wealth that may not have been gotten very honestly. So that involves, it's not, what's the word? Free from, best thing is everything pure. We accept donations from pure-hearted people. We preach to pure-hearted people. We engage pure-hearted people. But for the sake of Krishna consciousness, for the sake of preaching, all right, we sometimes accept service from persons who are not very pure. We accept money from persons who are not very pure. We engage people regardless. So we can do that, but there's some risk involved because they're not so pure. The perfect devotees will always be unaffected by such things, but the less advanced have to be so careful. Therefore, Brahma, when creating the universe, what benediction is he asking? That I won't be entangled, because I have to create all these people in passion and ignorance, so I may become entangled. And Krishna reassures him, don't worry, I'm behind you, I'll take care. But it's natural to think about these things. Here I'm in Honolulu at the moment. It's beautiful. The weather's so nice. There's every kind of fruit to offer to Krishna. There's every kind of flower to offer to Krishna. It's a good preaching field, but it's a very dangerous place. People come here and think it's so beautiful. It's like a heavenly planet. The girls are so nicely half-dressed, and the tendency is to think, let me enjoy. And then that spoils everything. So while we're Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita, he cites that even on the royal road, there may be some accident. Even on the royal road, there may be some accident. So these are indications when there's worldly people, when there's a lot of money, when there's beautiful women, one may be attracted and compromised. Bharat Maharaj was attracted even by a small deer. So this is the thing. For perfectly pure devotee, there's no question of entanglement, there's no question of any ill effect. But the rest of us have to be careful. It's like fire. Fire is good. With fire you can cook, with fire you can heat things. But when you deal with fire, you have to be very careful. The whole house can go up in smoke. So one has to be so careful in dealing with money, women, materialistic people especially. And these sacrificial, or these, what's the concessions, can entangle us. Householder life is a concession, Prabhupada says, for sex life. And we can avail ourselves of that concession because there's a need. We don't want to be victims to unrestricted sex life. So, all right, this is religious. There'd be a religious ceremony, a marriage ceremony, and there'll be so many pious activities performed in the course of family life. But one is advised, don't stay there, because it is entangling. It is entangling. Maybe for some of the purest souls, there's no entanglement, but generally one is advised to get out of family life. Don't take that concession and extend it forever. Otherwise, it will not be very good. What's very good? Vairagya, vidya, transcendental knowledge, and accordingly, detachment from this material existence. Is that okay?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I just wanted to make sure I understand this correctly. So you know how when we're accepting sponsorships for Sunday feast or donations for the different festivals, it's not that we're trying to launder their money, like, kala dhan into white dhan or anything like that, but we're trying to give them an opportunity to serve Krishna and the devotees. But here it said Krishna won't accept it. So does Krishna not accept that then?
Yeah, well, why not, for the sake of why not messing up here? You want to give me the reference?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, it's Antya Leela, chapter 6, text 275 and 276.
Yeah,
So more in 276 purport.
more chitta dravya laite, na hoy nirmal, e nimantrani teki pratishta matrafal. This is how Raghunath Das Goswami was thinking. For me to accept this, these dravya, this stuff that they're offering, nahoy nirmal, it's not going to be very purifying for my consciousness. Nahoy nirmal, it won't be spotless. E nimantrone teki pratishta matrapal. What will I get? I'll get a reputation. Oh, such a great guru, and he's the guru of this person and that person, this rich man, that rich man. So that's how Raghunath Das Goswami was thinking. But I'll accept offerings from materialistic people and put them before the Lord, invite the Vaishnavas, and then I'll get a material reputation. Oh, Raghunath Das Goswami is feeding so many Vaishnavas. Not good. Now, next verse. Upadote Prabhu more manena nimantran na manile duki haibika hoi manile duki ha ibeka murkajan. I'm inviting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so that these and he's accepting the invitation because he knows I'd be unhappy if he didn't accept it. And therefore he stopped inviting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let's see. So yes, it's contradictory. It's not very much recommended. For example, in the chapter on King Riga, who gave so much charity but was later condemned to become a lizard, in recounting his story, he said, I gave so many cows and they were all purchased with honest money. Which means that not everyone does that. We know some of our donors are engaged in not very good activities. And we won't go into what they may be engaged in, but we know that some of their activities are not pious activities. So we can, if we're not very careful, we can be affected. They're offering show bottle devotional service. Oh, I gave so much to the deities. I gave so much for the Vaishnav Seva. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Krishna and the Vaishnavas are not very pleased. Not very pleased. So sometimes the Vaishnavas may reject it, or else only very carefully do they accept such offerings. Okay. Yes, Rajesh.
I feel like one of the issues with an institution is that you have temples to run, you have a lot of needs for finances, and I see that with our local temple. Sometimes we're so short-staffed that we'll accept service from those who aren't qualified. You'll have people in the deity kitchen who maybe shouldn't be there. You'll, try to get funds. And I was thinking about someone like Sanatana Goswami who didn't need anybody's money, either free to refuse it or Chanakya Pandit, I can't be bought and sold. You don't take my advice, I'm out of here.
In Laguna Beach, at our temple there, at one point, for quite some time, there were so-called devotees whose main business was importing and selling drugs from Thailand, hashish and so on. And all right, the temple needed money, and these were devotees of a certain caliber. And this is good. We'll get some money. We're not doing this business. They're doing it, but they're giving us some contribution, and we need money. So they were accepting it. But what happened? They needed more money, and this was a cheap and easy way to get money. The business needed drug runners, and so some devotees could take up this service, and the proceeds would go to the deity, and so it was Sankirtan. That's what it was being billed as. When you're going to Thailand to do a drug run, actually it's Sankirtan, because everything's going for Krishna. So in this way, the drug runners could, like you said, the drug dealers could feel that they were doing devotional service because they were giving something. But the people who were receiving that charity got in trouble. They became gradually entangled, and actually the whole temple became like a big drug business. It became like a drug business. It lost the purity and sanctity of a temple. Temple president became like the local organizer for drug-related activities. Other devotees were pulled in. Finally, the brahmacharis were going back and forth to Thailand to perform Sankirtan, getting money from drugs. So that's the danger. Prabhupada said that if one is completely pure, then he won't be affected. But if one's not completely pure, one can be affected. And therefore, Vaishnavas are sometimes reluctant. No, I don't want to take any charity from this person. Or just like some woman is coming to offer service to a sannyasi or to a guru or to someone. But what happens, there's strings attached. It may be prasadam, it may be that our business is to accept only Krishna prasadam, very nice. But there's some connection with material desires, that if this, I love this sannyasi, or I love this guru, and I just want to please him, and but the consciousness of the person is not pure, so then it's mixed with lusty desires, and one is accepting that service and becoming implicated. So it's the duty of a guru to accept service, duty of a sannyasi, to some extent, to accept or engage people. But in this way, one can be on thin ice. So Raghunath Das Goswami was thinking that, no, I'm accepting this charity from my big shot uncle and father. And what am I doing? I'm just getting a reputation. Oh, Raghunath Das Goswami, so charitable, and he provides for the best feasts. Oh no, I can't, why did I come here to Puri? Jayādvaita. I came to develop a detachment and knowledge. As long as one Pogashaya Pasaktanam Tayafar change the sound. Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Samato Nuvedi Te. If as long as I'm attached to sense gratification, then Krishna consciousness will be difficult. And when I'm in touch with materialistic people, trying to engage them, then we also may become like them. They want to see that we're philanthropists. All right, we'll be philanthropists. They want to see that we're Hindu. All right, we'll be Hindu. They want to see that we're
Vegan society.
Hmm?
The vegan society.
Yeah, the vegan society wants to see that we're vegans. Everyone wants to see something that supports their worldview. And the tendency is that, all right, now I've accepted money. I have a debt. One becomes indebted to the big donors. After all, they invested heavily. But therefore, the sannyasis are meant to travel all over the whole world. Because where's the question of day? They can travel safely. Jnana-vairagya, equipped with knowledge and enlightenment. That's a kind of warning for us. Okay.
Yeah, that last thing you mentioned, Gurumaj, we just heard in class a couple days ago that Narada Muni was welcomed even by the envious and materialists such as Kamsa. They all felt that he had their best interest in mind as well.
Yes.
We have some things in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Bean Prabhu. In one big temple being constructed in India, there was a request from the owner of a big chicken chain for a large donation. The religious leader politely declined, mentioning straightforward that his business was sinful. Yet the temple is complete and functioning now.
Yeah.
Okay, something else in the chat. Saraswati, Machi writes, Antya 6.279.
Yeah, that was which verse? That was the verse. That was the verse of informing.
Is this a different question? It looks like a different question.
Yeah, it's a different verse.
Okay.
Okay. Warns of accepting prasadam invitations from people who are under modes of nature. But we know some sannyasis accept invitations to dine with wealthy people who are materialistic too. And there's a question, most people are under modes of nature, so rare to get invites from only pure devotees.
Yes. Therefore, it's a little risky. There was one time Prabhupada went to some place in South India, and they were going to give some land, but there were strings attached. And Prabhupada saw that it wasn't just a straightforward donation, it's a business deal. It was a business deal. And Prabhupada didn't like him. Yes.
Okay, should we have another question? Is there a question there in the live audience or?
No, I don't think there is.
Okay.
But this is elsewhere it said, yeah, but this verse is relevant. Vishayir annahoy rajasan nimantra. Tata bhokta duhar malina hoyma. When the invitations are from materialistic people and perhaps one's own thinking thought process is, wow, we're going to eat at the home of such and such rich person, the food will be really good. But you can see what's happening. The consciousness starts to become a little affected, a little affected, a little affected, and then very infected. So one has to be so careful. One has to be so careful. Their intentions are not completely pure, and our purity is not 100% either. And so we start to associate with those materialistic people and take on their qualities. So these things should be done very carefully under the direction of the spiritual masters so that one doesn't become dragged down. Prabhupada at one point, he encouraged Gargamuni to work for his father with the idea that his father would take him into the business so that he would all be useful for Krishna consciousness. This was in the very early days. But it didn't really work out that way. And Prabhupada also put the idea aside. Another example, he started this political party, In God We Trust, as a preaching platform. But then he saw that it involved all sorts of sort of materially entangling activities that one had to, you have to register a separate nonprofit organization and this and that and the other thing. And then you're thinking about, you're thinking about politics instead of about preaching. And it gets entangling. We start some philanthropic organization, and then we become philanthropists. At first we understand, yes, this is just for the reputation as a society or to collect some money. But later we become convinced that this is important work. We're helping people by karmakandya activities. So one has to be very careful about these things. Otherwise, one may be contaminated by the material energy.
Okay. Another question.
Yes.
Murari Gupta Prabhu writes, Hare Krishna Maharaj, I've always wondered if a simple devotee doing what his temple authority says in good faith is affected in any way if the activity is not proper but is presented as necessary in the circumstances.
Yes, we have so many examples how devotees have been who acted in good faith were contaminated. There was a whole era where Sankirtan became selling records, selling beach towels, selling hats, selling this, selling that, and the devotees were affected. Although perhaps they just said, all right, whatever the temple president's telling me, that's what I'm supposed to do. So they were submissive. Therefore, such a great responsibility is with the leaders. These people are under our care. That means our care makes a difference. If we engage them wrongly, they may be affected. That Laguna Beach temple, nice, simple devotees got polluted by the temple business. Nice, simple devotees went from book distribution to record, towel, candle, every other kind of distribution. And many of them became affected. Some of them, okay, they just did it and pulled it off. But others just left. Either they thought this is not what I joined for, this is not, it doesn't represent the idealistic goals of the society, or they thought, wow, why am I doing this business for the temple? This is lucrative. I could be supporting my family this way. I could be making money. Why hand everything over? And so they found, what's the word? Good prospects in materialistic economic development, which was now not only good economic development, but it was a form of Sankirtan. We lost so many people. It seemed like good money, but this was not our duty. And even the honest devotees who took it up as in good faith were affected. Many. So the leaders have a great responsibility. The parents, the temple presidents, the GBC members, the sannyasis, the gurus, everyone who is placed in a position of responsibility for others has a great weight, a great burden of duty. See that these people are properly engaged in a way that they won't be further dragged down into materialistic life, and they will emerge successful in Krishna consciousness. So it's very carefully to be dealt with. Yes, there's another comment.
Saraswati Mashi writes, one devotee once told my daughter that he would like to marry her because he used to distribute books on the beach constantly, seeing scantily dressed girls, so now he cannot remain as brahmachari.
Yeah. If the temple presidents think that, well, these men are like cannon fodder, you just feed them into the program, and well, if we lose a few, it's okay because the temple will come out ahead. That's not very good. And from experience, the temple leaders or gurus or whoever have to know that if we engage people in these risky affairs or materially contaminating affairs, then we may lose the person, and the person is the most important thing. The person is the most important thing. So Prabhupada was careful about that. And their example. Is that okay?
Okay,
Yeah, there's a story here. Read it, you can read it.
Praveen Prabhu writes, there was a story by Gaur Govinda Maharaj, how the donation by a prostitute affected the sadhus. The sadhus had bad dreams. They lamented and took to fasting. When they slept, the Lord came in their dreams. Why are you fasting? Our consciousness is now polluted. But why take that prasadam? But how could we refuse your prasadam? I can digest. You cannot digest.
Yes.
Just take a morsel to respect me.
Yes. Okay. I hope these examples and stories, Govinda Maharaj's being the latest and important. I hope these clarify the questions. We can do anything for Krishna, but material world is a dangerous place, and preachers have to be careful to maintain their their purity of consciousness. Sometimes we do undertake some risk. Without risk, how will we do anything? Our book distributors go out and all right, they're not distributing towels, they're distributing books. But even then, there's some risk. So everyone has to know about that and take precautions, especially by rigidly following the program, so that they'll maintain their spiritual strength. And also by being engaged in proper activities, by ideally mature devotees who are not just interested in balancing the budget, but interested in the welfare of the people of the devotee. So what will we do? Now it's time for kirtan.
Is there a live devotees who can do kirtan?
Yeah, Radhesha says he can do it again. He's just been
Yeah.
found by original devotees. This is the original sound. Yes.
Yeah, there's restrictions on animal sacrifice and all those other things, but no time or place. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we can't hear.
Hare Krishna. Hare Hare